And so if you find yourself like kind of just sitting in that position and not really making it happen, you have to have a heart to heart with yourself. And like, are you going to be the person that clocks into a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life and maybe retires when they're 65 if they made good investments? Or are you going to just like fucking take the risk and the chance and try to make it happen? And so for me, at a certain point, like probably after talking to you and Danelle, I remember when you guys were giving me a bunch of shit for it, saying like, I know you're fucking afraid, you just got to do it. And I was like, fuck it. And I was like super afraid. Got on like a phone call with my boss and told him like, look, I don't know any other way to tell you this, but I'm leaving. And he
All right, give me a second. All right, so you guys all know this guy right here. Come here. You guys all know this guy right here. What you don't know is that this guy somehow, and he's going to talk to you about this here in a minute, somehow was able to quit his comfy monthly income job that's well over 6 figures to come on here and had the mindset, had the heart, had the impact to be able to quit that. And now he just was looking at houses today. He found a house he's going to be moving in. So not only did he quit his job, he's leaving his house, his comfort zone, everything that he had going on to be able to come out here and be able to impact. So Sean, tell me what kind of mindset, what went through, because I know you was fucking scared. He can't have a porn mustache and not be scared about it. So
actually there's like a story, and I don't know the entire story, but it's basically about this army, and the army was like vastly outnumbered, and they knew that they were basically going to get fucking pwned when they went over there. And so basically like what this military general did is when he got there, he burned all of the ships that the army arrived on so that they couldn't retreat. And it kind of triggered something in the army that was like kind of going to capture this land, where they were like, well, we can't go back. And so the only way to go is to go forward. And so for me, like, that's what it was. Like, I made probably close to like 250 grand per year salary, 5 weeks of mandatory paid vacation. Like, you had to take it or else like you get a fucking talking to from your boss. So like super, super comfy job. But at the end of the day, there comes a point where you have to decide if you're going to go all in or not, or if it's going to be just some bullshit hobby that you pretend you're doing for the next few years. And so for me, like, it was time to make that decision. So that was my rationale for it.
what are some of the things
Burning the ships.
What were some of the things that were going through your mind? Like, because I know it's not easy, right? You go from like this, obviously, here's some of the things that go through your mind, right? Like each and every one of us, we might have a comfy job. We might have like, okay, this is okay. I got to make enough money. I live okay, but your time's eaten up. You're building somebody else's dreams. So I know you had some of that going through your mind. You're like, hey, you know what? I could stay in this job and I can make $250,000 a year. And I can get 5 weeks off of vacation. But there was this opposite side that was over here going, hey, Sean, but you don't have free time, but you don't have this, but you don't have that. Yeah. And like, what was it? It wasn't just burn the boats, but there had to be like fear that you had. There had to be things that were inside of you that were holding you back. And I know they were holding you back for a little while, because I've been trying to talk his ass into quitting his job for a long time. I was like, fuck your job. Fuck that shit. So what were some of the things that you were going through?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like, at least I was like a little bit afraid. Like $250,000 is a lot of money.
Up here.
I gotta be up here.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like 250 grand is a lot of money. And so like for me, like, sure, I was a little bit afraid. I'm going to go in, like, try to do all these different things, launch my own course, help Josh, like, really scale BAM and help like as many people as he wants to help, and like do all of these things. And like, that's a nice goal. But at the end of the day, it's like, it can still be a scary thing to do. And so comes a point where you have to have the courage to do it. And for me, like, one of the things that I tell myself, like a little affirmation, is that like your dreams aren't going to achieve themselves. And so if you find yourself like kind of just sitting in that position and not really making it happen, you have to have a heart to heart with yourself. And like, are you going to be the person that clocks into a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life and maybe retires when they're 65 if they made good investments? Or are you going to just like fucking take the risk and the chance and try to make it happen? And so for me, at a certain point, like probably after talking to you and Danelle, I remember when you guys were giving me a bunch of shit for it, saying like, I know you're fucking afraid, you just got to do it. And I was like, fuck it. And I was like super afraid. Got on like a phone call with my boss and told him like, look, I don't know any other way to tell you this, but I'm leaving. And he wasn't happy with this. But it happened. And so it happened, and now it's real. So that was it for me.